All right, let's jump into another deep dive. Today we're heading over to South Korea. We're going to check out what's going on with cryptocurrency over there, specifically how it's changing their financial landscape. If you follow crypto, or maybe you're just interested in Korean finance, or hey, maybe you just like seeing how new tech shakes things up. Well, this is for you. We're diving deep into this article. It's called Banks to Expand Crypto Business as Corporate Funds Set to Flow.
I think what's really interesting here is how Korean banks, they've always been known as very cautious, but they are now embracing crypto.
Yeah, it's a big change. The article talks about how the government in South Korea is gradually allowing corporations to invest in crypto.
Right.
So first it'll be nonprofits in the second quarter of this year, and then it'll be certain publicly listed companies later on.
Yeah.
And this seems to be the reason that banks are kind of changing their stance, right?
Absolutely. I mean, initially, I think there was some hesitation because of how volatile crypto can be.
Right.
And all the regulatory uncertainty, right?
Yeah.
But now with corporations entering the picture, banks see a big opportunity, not only in managing these funds, which are going to be quite substantial, but also because of all the potential new revenue they can get from crypto services.
That makes sense. And also, under Korean regulations right now, crypto exchanges, they need customers to use real name bank accounts for their transactions.
Right.
So the banks are in a great spot to benefit from all this money coming in, right?
Exactly. These real name accounts are super important because they give Korean regulators a way to kind of keep track of crypto transactions and fight money laundering, which was a big problem, in the early days of crypto. So as these corporations get ready to dive in, they're going to need these accounts. And, well, the banks are ready.
Makes sense. The article highlights how these major Korean banks are partnering up with crypto exchanges. It's almost like a strategic alliance in this new financial world.
Yeah, definitely.
So we see K-Bank is with Upbit, Kakao Bank with Koinon, Shinhan Bank with Korbit, Jeonbuk Bank with GoPax, and then KB Kookmin Bank with Bithum. What's interesting is that these partnerships are already making a lot of money.
Yeah, the numbers are really something. K-Bank, the one partnered with Upbit, they reported that in the first half of 2024, just deposits related to Upbit made up 17% of their total deposits.
Wow.
And get this, fees from crypto transactions, 40% of their total fee revenue. So that clearly shows how profitable these crypto services can be for banks.
Yeah, those numbers are incredible. And it's not just K-Bank either. KB Kookmin Bank, they saw account registrations almost quadruple after announcing their partnership with Bithum.
Wow.
I mean, this really shows you there's a lot of demand out there for these crypto services, and the banks are noticing.
Oh, yeah. And remember, this is mostly just retail investors right now. Imagine how much money will come flooding in when corporations with their huge amounts of money start getting involved.
It's going to be like a tidal wave of money hitting the Korean crypto market. The article even mentions that just as of January 2025, retail investors already had 10.7 trillion won deposited in those 5 major exchanges.
That's a lot of money. So now the question is, who benefits the most from all this? Will it change the whole landscape of the Korean crypto exchange market?
Yeah, it's like a puzzle. Some analysts are saying that exchanges partners with these commercial banks, like Bithum and Korbit, they might have a leg up. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's definitely possible. Commercial banks, they usually have a much stronger presence in the corporate banking world.
Right.
So this existing infrastructure, it could give them a big advantage in attracting and then managing these corporate crypto investments.
That makes sense. But wouldn't that also benefit the internet-only banks that are already popular with younger tech-savvy investors?
That's a good point. I mean, it's possible they could leverage their appeal with that demographic to, get a slice of this corporate crypto pie. It'll be really interesting to see how all this plays out. I mean, the entry of corporations could really shake up the market share among the exchanges.
For sure. And then, of course, there's Upbit, which dominates the market right now.
Right.
Like 80% share. The Financial Services Commission, the FSC, their vice chairman, even hinted that allowing corporations to invest could actually help to address this, to kind of break up the monopoly.
That's an important point. It seems like the government really wants to encourage a more competitive and balanced crypto market. And this could be a step in the right direction. But, with all this growth, it's natural to worry about the risks.
Right. What about the potential downsides?
Exactly.
The article mentioned needing strong anti-money laundering measures. And with crypto transactions being so anonymous, I mean, it is a valid concern.
Yeah, it's really important that that's addressed. Rigorous owner verifications, especially for these corporate accounts, will be super important. And it sounds like the Korean authorities are prioritizing that.
Okay, good.
The article does say that the virtual asset industry is working with financial authorities, to improve these anti-money laundering measures and also to improve user protection.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
It sounds like everyone is taking responsibility for building a solid crypto ecosystem in Korea. But what about the banks that aren't partnering with exchanges? Are they missing out?
Not necessarily. Some banks are finding their own way into the crypto world. And their strategies are pretty interesting. Actually, we should talk about that in the next part.
Okay, I'm ready. This is what I love about these deep dives. There's always something new to discover. We'll be right back. We'll explore how these other Korean banks are riding this crypto wave. Okay, welcome back to our deep dive into all things crypto in South Korea. We were just talking about how some Korean banks are doing things differently. They're getting into crypto without actually partnering with exchanges.
Yeah, it's really interesting. They're kind of finding their own way.
I'm really curious about these alternative strategies.
Well, Hana Bank, they acquired a 25% stake in BitGo Korea last September. And BitGo Korea, they're a big player in virtual asset custody.
Virtual asset custody. Can you, explain that a little bit? I mean, some of our listeners might not know what that is.
Sure. Basically, it's safeguarding crypto assets. For individuals and institutions, you can think of it as like a super secure digital vault, but specifically for storing crypto. As crypto becomes more valuable, and we're seeing more and more of these institutional investors like the corporations we were talking about, well, they need secure places to store their crypto. That's where custody comes in.
So Hana Bank is betting on the fact that more and more people are going to need these secure crypto storage options.
Right.
Which is pretty smart considering, all the concerns about security and money laundering.
Exactly. And this strategy lets them tap into the crypto market without, needing to team up with an exchange directly. They're carving out their own little space.
I like it. And what about Woori Bank? Are they doing something similar?
Woori Bank is focusing on custody too, but they're going about it a little differently. They've partnered with a domestic virtual asset custody provider. It's called BDACS.
Oh, interesting. So both Hana and Woori are zeroing in on this security side of crypto.
Yeah.
Recognizing that as the industry grows up, these robust custody solutions, they're going to be really important, especially for attracting those big investors, like those corporations that are getting ready to jump in.
Exactly. They're kind of building the infrastructure for this whole new financial system.
Yeah.
As more money flows into crypto, it's got to be safe.
Yeah, it's almost like a gold rush, but instead of protecting physical gold, they're building these digital vaults to protect digital gold.
I like that analogy. That's a really good way to put it. This move towards custody also shows that crypto is becoming more accepted as a real asset.
Yeah, that's a great point. It seems like the Korean financial world is getting more comfortable with crypto.
Yeah.
It's not just this volatile, risky thing anymore.
Right. And that change in perception is really important if crypto is going to become more widely adopted. When these traditional institutions like banks embrace crypto, it makes the whole industry seem more legitimate. And that paves the way for everyone to access it. But, we got to remember, this is still a developing market.
Right.
We've talked about the potential upsides.
Yeah.
But what about the potential downsides? What are some of the risks that come with bringing crypto into the Korean financial system so quickly?
Yeah, that's a great question. With all these new players and all these new strategies popping up, I mean, is there any concern about the stability of the whole system, especially with all these changes happening so fast?
Yeah, that's another concern. One of the biggest challenges, as we've already talked about, is the need for really good anti-money laundering measures.
Right.
As more money flows in from both regular people and corporations, we got to make sure those systems are strong.
The article did mention that the Korean crypto industry is working with the authorities to improve those measures.
Yeah, and that's good news.
Yeah.
They're working together. It shows they're all taking responsibility to build a secure and sustainable crypto ecosystem. It's not just about making money. It's about creating a system that can handle whatever challenges come up.
So we've covered a lot today.
Yeah.
We talked about how Korean banks are embracing crypto, partnering with exchanges, focusing on custody solutions. But so what? What does this mean for the average person? Why should someone outside Korea even care about any of this?
Well, the Korean model with the government regulations, the industry cooperation, and the banks getting involved, it could become a model for other countries that are looking to bring crypto into their own financial systems.
So what's happening in Korea could affect the whole world.
Absolutely. If their model works, we might see banks everywhere doing the same thing, which could mean more people would have access to crypto. It could become a widely accepted asset. And who knows, maybe we'll even see new financial products and services built around it.
Wow, it's like we're watching the beginning of a financial revolution, and Korea's leading the charge.
Haha, yeah, it's an exciting time. Although, to be honest, it's a little unpredictable, too.
Okay, I have one last question before we move on. The Korean government's decision to let corporations invest in crypto, but, Slowly. Why the slow rollout? Why not just let everyone in all at once?
That's a good question. I think they're trying to be cautious, find that balance between innovation and risk.
I see. They're playing it safe.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's something worth exploring further.
Okay, so welcome back. We're wrapping up our look at South Korea's crypto scene. And last we left off, we were talking about the Korean government and their decision to gradually open up crypto investment to corporations.
Right.
And I'm really curious about this cautious approach.
Well, I think what they're doing is they're trying to find that balance
Yeah.
between, encouraging innovation and also managing risk. So they're starting with nonprofits.
Okay.
And then moving on to certain listed companies. It's like by doing it step by step,
Yeah.
they can watch how the market reacts, they can collect data, and then if they need to, they can make changes to the regulations along the way.
It's kind of like a real-life experiment, with financial policy.
Exactly. They're dipping their toes in the water before jumping in head first.
Right.
And this approach lets them spot any problems early on so they can adjust their strategy. It also gives the crypto industry time to get ready, to beef up their infrastructure, make sure those anti-money laundering measures are solid so they can handle all that corporate money coming in.
So they're trying to make sure the whole thing is built to last.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just about opening the doors to crypto.
Uh-huh.
It's about making sure that whatever growth happens, it's responsible, it's sustainable. And remember, Korea has always been pretty cautious when it comes to crypto. So this step-by-step approach, it makes sense. It's how they do things.
It really is fascinating how Korea has become like this testing ground for figuring out how to bring crypto into a more traditional financial system. Are there any specific things you think they'll be watching closely during this rollout?
I think investor protections. They've got to make sure things are transparent, make sure everyone's playing fair,
Yeah.
especially with all these corporations coming in. That's going to be really important if they want people to keep trusting the system. I'm sure they'll also be keeping an eye on Upbit, to see if all this helps to make the market more competitive.
It's like they're playing chess,
Yeah.
with the financial system.
Aha, that's a good way to put it.
Thinking carefully about every move.
Exactly. And the whole world is watching to see how it plays out. I mean, if Korea's model works, other countries might follow their lead.
Wow, so we could be seeing the start of a whole new global standard for regulating and adopting crypto.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. And for our listener, it's something to think about. Imagine banks offering crypto services, corporations using crypto, and everyone having access to this new asset class.
It's a future with a lot of potential, but it's going to take careful planning to get there.
Absolutely.
Korea's experience with crypto shows us that with innovation, there are always challenges.
Yeah, for sure.
But if we face those challenges head on and do it responsibly, we can really unlock the power of this technology and, make sure our financial systems are safe and sound.
Well said.
So to our listener, as you go about your day, think about this. How do you think Korea's model might change the future of finance? Not just in Korea, but all over the world. What do you see happening? What are the opportunities? What are the risks? The answers might surprise you.
Keep your eye on Korea. They might just be writing the next chapter in the story of money.